Life can be very complex if we choose to, or it can be very simple if we take a little bit of dip within ourselves. Evidences are everywhere where you can see all the creations get crunched into something simple like energy, and the same energy recreates other forms, and the cycle goes on. All the galaxies get crunched and they gravitate ultimately and end up in the funnel of the black hole where everything gets crunched. Billions of suns, stars, planets, all these things get crunched, and what comes out is a radiation that becomes the fuel for the next nebula, from which millions of new stars can come out. Nothing is wasted. But what happens to all the things that were created in between? What about the information that is created? What about the advanced life forms which were created? Everything gravitates down to nothingness. And what is this nothingness? We don't know. But it is hidden within us. All these forces that we see at play, there is a great mobilizer working behind it. Just like the oceans, the deep waters of the ocean. Now the scientists understand that there are huge currents going over miles and miles and miles and thousands of miles. They go and hug the coasts of different nations, different continents, and they equalize a lot of things. They pick up the cold temperature water from the Arctic zones, take them around, bring them to the hottest continents like Africa, India, and bring the temperatures down for them. Otherwise, the center part, the hot continents, will become very hot. So this process, the currents keep on going in the ocean all the time. Ocean is never at rest. Ocean does the job of equalizing things on the planet on a very grand scale. Ocean is the equalizer of the earth weather. Ocean does not differentiate which country it touches. It can touch Haiti, one of the poorest countries on earth, or Russia, or China, or US, which proclaim themselves to be the superpowers. Same ocean water touches everywhere and equalizes things for all the countries, continents. Similarly, if you go within, all your mind, thoughts, beliefs, egos, everything gets crunched. Ultimately, everything funnels down to one thing: the ocean of silence. Silence is the absence of thoughts, absence of ideas, beliefs, absence of words, absence of languages. ultimately all the visual information, absence of the forms, shapes, sizes, time, everything gets crunched into one unified consciousness, the awareness. The awareness is awareness because it is aware of something. But you go further down and you go into a deep abyss, almost like unfathomable ocean. You keep getting deeper and deeper and deeper. The sunlight, the life forms, everything disappears. And what remains is just pure darkness. And yet, in these dark oceans, high-level forces are at work, doing only one thing: equalizing. Similarly, everything disappears. Even the awareness disappears. And you reach to a zone of absolute silence, absolute peace. And this entity is the equalizer that runs the whole universe or the universes. This equalizer is balancing the whole sansar. We may be differentiating ourselves from our neighbor, who may be richer or poorer, taller or shorter. We create our own egos, but there is an equalizer at work. This equalizer gives us the same body as anybody else, same energy to think as everybody else. Person may be different, but the enjoyment of sexual performance is the same, unique for everyone. Same experience, individually given to an individual. Hunger is the same. Thirst is the same. Existence is the same, except for the differences in small forms and shapes and size and colors, which are very superficial things which we can see. What we don't see is the equalizer at the bottom. Einstein was one of the brightest minds ever created, but immediately following him, his children are just ordinary people, cannot even come close to the brains of the Einstein. Mahatma Gandhi, a great soul, followed by an ordinary soul in the form of his children. Right after the World Wars, World War I, World War II, huge number of males were killed in the war. All of a sudden, the shift happened in the new generations. The ratio suddenly changed into creating more male babies than females. Who does all these things? Who is equalizing everything? There is a mysterious force going on within us and everywhere, which which is equalizing us. Ultimately, it is this equalizing force which is our destiny. For this equalizing force, egos don't mean anything. You may have an ego of Genghis Khan or Alexander or Bill Gates or anybody to that matter. Everything gets crunched into one equalizer, the death. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Everything meets the same fate. So ego is something that has been inflated by our own fictitious minds. But playing with this ego, we lose our chance to meet this equalizing force within us, which respects everything, whether it's a poor person living in a hut or a king-like person living in palaces. Strip them off of everything, take their huts away, take their palaces away, put them side by side with no clothes. Equalizer is at work. They both look the same. We are missing the boat when we are in the process of building the ego in our life. More money, more fame, more recognition, more this, more that. Under the guidance of the world, we have destroyed our desire to go within, where this equalizer is at work. Ask yourself one question. If you think you are so different from others, why there are so many things which are common with others? The way you breathe, the way your heart beats, the way you get hungry, the way you get thirsty. Every single process about us, including our existence. We have the same existence as anybody else. Earthworm exists and we exist. All the differences are created by the humans. Superiority complex, inferiority complex, stress, anxiety, anger, greed. All these are products of the ego. We are wasting time with this ego. It is time to let it dissolve within our own minds, realize the futility of this ego and go down further. Drop the ego, you will still exist. It's almost like a facade. Your name, your possessions are only the facade that you are showing to the world, but deep inside there is this current of equalizers going on. And this equalizing, which is nothing but the samyak state, binds everything and everybody. This equalizing force is more powerful than your egos. In no time your egos will be crunched. It's time to crunch it yourself. Realize the futility of it. And yet, you will not perish. The existence will hold you. You merge with this in the current of this equalizing force, the flow of Atma that is flowing within you, within me. At that level, we are all the same. Whether we have one less arm or one less eye or whatever, doesn't matter. What color we are doesn't matter. How tall, how short we are doesn't matter. How big our balances are doesn't matter. We all are bathed in this equalizing Atma that is flowing continuously. Go further, even the Atma disappears, and one Shunyata, the dark abyss of existence, remains. And this is what's moving all the egos around and ultimately crushes them down to within itself and recreates new formations. So this equalizer is our ultimate destiny. The sooner we realize is better. Sooner we realize that silence is the language that we all should speak. Silence is where our resting place is, where there is infinite peace, bliss, and joy of existence. Have a good day.